I like killing people because it's so much fun.
This is not an enthralling line from a novel. These are lines from a letter received by the San Francisco Examiner in July 1969. The sender of that letter was none other than the Zodiac Killer, who terrorized America in the late 60s and early 70s. In 1968, the police patrol team on duty at Lover's Lane in California received a notice. There was a shooting near Lake Herman, a few meters from where you are. All patrolling units proceed there immediately. The units in that area rushed to the location as soon as they heard the notice. When the police arrived, there was a crowd around a car near the lake. A teenage couple had been shot dead. The attacker was a sniper, and so they couldn't catch him. The California police accepted defeat after 1 week of investigation. They then requested the help of investigators. This made the FBI and other private agencies take over the investigation. Betty, aged 16, and David, aged 17, were killed according to the first information report made by the FBI. They were not members of any gang, but the detectives demanded the police to strengthen security. They decided to expand the investigation. There were no CCTV visuals or eyewitnesses. Due to this, they couldn't get a hold of any evidence, even after 1 month of hard work. 7 months later, the next murder took place. They too were a young couple. Mike McGaw and Darlene Ferrin were shot dead while sitting parked in their car at the Vallejo Golf Club in California. The Vallejo police station received a phone call at 12:30 the next night. The caller claimed responsibility for these killings and for the ones that took place 7 months ago. The police traced the call. It was from a phone booth 500 meters away from where the murder took place. However, when the police arrived, they could not find anyone there. Then on 1st of August 1969, 3 prominent presses in California Bay received a letter. These 3 letters were almost identical. The writer of the letter stated that he was responsible for the recent killings and for the ones that took place 7 months back. Each letter had a cryptogram containing 408 signs. It also included a threat. You have to publish these codes on the first page of your newspaper, or you will start seeing a series of murders. The Chronicle, one of the 3 newspapers, published this cryptogram on their 4th page the next day, but the police didn't take heed of this. They viewed this as some sort of publicity stunt, as nothing clear was received from those letters. After 6 days, however, another press received a letter, which began with, "Dear Editor, this is the Zodiac speaking." It was there that the killer introduced himself for the first time. The term Zodiac was born there. The information in that letter was shocking. It contained evidence that only the police knew about the murder, but some of the evidence in that letter was not even found by the police. It was only then that everyone came to understand the seriousness of the matter. The investigation intensified. However, the next attack took place in September 1969. Brian and Cecilia were relaxing in Lake Berryessa in California. A person dressed as an executioner approached them. He said that he was an escaped convict and that he wanted money. Without giving them any time to react, Zodiac attacked them both with a knife he had. After the execution, he left his mark and the time of the incident on Brian's car. As usual, he himself informed the police of this. Fortunately, they were rescued by the locals and rushed to the hospital, even though Cecilia lost her life. the doctors were able to save Brian's life after a long struggle. The next murder took place in October 1969. Zodiac was frequenting first-page news during this time. This frightened the public very much. After these incidents, the media received many letters and cryptograms from Zodiac. The police weren't able to catch the killer even after an intense police investigation. However, there were a few people suspected of being the potential killer. The first suspected person was Arthur Lee Allen. Robert Gray Smith, a cartoonist for the San Francisco Chronicle, shared this suspicion for the first time in his book. Relatives say that Arthur left home saying he was going to Lake Berryessa on the day of Brian and Cecilia's attack. He returned that day covered in blood and a knife in his hand. A friend of Allen says he once described himself as a Zodiac and talked about stabbing people to death after flashing their faces with a torch at night. Furthermore, the police found the remains of dead animals, blood-stained knives, and sexual devices from searching his residence. He was working in the Navy when he was accused of the sexual exploitation of children, for which he was dismissed from work and later imprisoned. However, he was acquitted because the DNA from the stamp on the letter sent by the Zodiac Killer and the DNA of Allen didn't match. The second suspect was Earl Van Best Jr. This suspicion was raised by Van Best's own son. His son, Gary Stewart, also wrote a book about him, titled The Most Dangerous Animal of All. The number of ciphers which reveal the name of the Zodiac Killer was the same as the number of letters in his name, but the later sketch of the killer's face did not match. The third person was Lawrence Kane Kay. He lived in the same place where the Zodiac Killer's victims lived or died. Darlene's sister says that Lawrence had stalked and harassed her before she was killed. Moreover, a police officer says he had seen someone like this in the area after the murder of a person named Stein. But these were just speculations. There is no evidence that any of them was indeed the killer. There is not even evidence to validate the testimonies. Efforts are still ongoing for this. What if the Zodiac killings were a series of murders planned by not one, but all three of them? If so, is the Zodiac Killer actually three persons? We have no answers, just questions. What do you think? Comment and let us know.